The 86th session of the Texas legislature was historic. With skyrocketing property tax bills and a broken school finance system, legislators faced a daunting task. Never before had a legislature successfully tackled the issues of school finance reform and property tax reform simultaneously of their own volition. With the Texas Republican Senate caucus leading the way, the legislature passed landmark legislation, providing meaningful property tax reform and relief for 7 million Texas property owners, while making significant reforms to Texas's education system. Texas Republican Senate Caucus Chair Paul Bettencourt, a champion of property tax relief for the last 2 decades, led the charge on the Senate floor, aided by Senator Hancock in the chamber, and all 19 Republican colleagues voting to pass SB 2.
Property taxes are growing too fast. We're pushing homeowners and business owners to the brink across the state of Texas. We're not talking rocket science here. We're talking simple math that as values go up, tax rates need to come down.
This is a historic day for Texas Capitol. Today we have the opportunity to pass the most comprehensive property tax reform package since the Pavetta Bill in 1979. Nearly 40 years ago,
Senator Jane Nelson crafted a budget that directed billions in additional funding towards education and provided resources to raise pay for teachers and get more money into Texas classrooms.
We've got to move our school finance system into the 21st century. And that's what this bill is about. Saving on taxes, reforming our educational system, getting those students that we have today, not the ones we had 30 years ago, but getting the students we have today up to the levels they need to be is challenging, but it certainly can be done.
Chairman Taylor, the need for meaningful school reform is real, and the need is urgent for our children, and you've made that clear. Coming into this session, there were 3 critical items: property tax relief, teacher pay raises, and transitioning from Robin Hood. And this bill achieves that.
Additional funding for schools wasn't the only improvement the Texas Republican Senate caucus championed relative to education. Senator Larry Taylor, whose district includes the Santa Fe School District, which witnessed a tragic school shooting, introduced Senate Bill 11 to ensure there would be proper mental health resources available to Texas students.
The committee substitute for Senate Bill 11 is a response to the tragedy that occurred at Santa Fe High School on May the 18th, 2018, where 10 individuals, 8 students and 2 substitute teachers were killed.
If you're not safe, doesn't matter how well you're educated, and frankly, if you're not safe on your schools, it obviously doesn't matter. So we have to make sure we do everything we reasonably can within our power to make sure this is not repeated.
In addition to property tax and education reform, the Texas Republican Senate caucus provided relief aid for the victims of Hurricane Harvey, with Senators Creighton, Kolkhorst, and Water and Rural Affairs Chairman Perry passing important bills.
Hurricane Harvey devastated the southeast portion of the state and left 1/3 of Houston underwater.
We've had too many of these, only to wake up and find out that we didn't remember what to do from last time and learn from it.
Senate Bill 6 sets out the parameters of what we learned and hopefully how we will respond to future hurricanes.
Equally important to the Texas Republican Senate caucus was the defense of the individual rights of Texans. Senator Lois Kolkhorst defended life with the Born Alive bill to protect babies who survive failed abortions, and Senator Brian Hughes protected the religious liberty of Texans with his Chick-fil-A bill.
Any baby born alive in Texas is going to be respected as a human being. Where DC is unclear, we're going to be very clear here in Texas. And where DC is divided, we are going to be very united in the Texas House and the Texas Senate. We stand together because both chambers are dedicated to protecting life and protecting the unborn and the newborns with the full force of Texas law.
And I think we understand that the fundamental rights enshrined in the First Amendment, free speech, free exercise of religion, those uniquely American rights that we enjoy, that we do not take for granted, those blood-bought rights, those should be protected, those should be supreme. And so that's what Senate Bill 1978 is about, is to make sure that people are not treated differently by the government based on their religious beliefs. This bill clearly and simply provides that if you affiliate with or make a donation to a religious organization, You cannot be punished by your government for doing that.
Tackling problems within Texas's border was not the only challenge facing the 86th session of the Texas legislature. Texas faces serious security issues related to the flood of illegal immigrants crossing Texas's border with Mexico. The entire Texas Senate Republican caucus, along with Lieutenant Governor Patrick, Senator Cruz, and Senator Cornyn, forcefully called upon Washington to take bold action, and Senator Pete Flores spoke to the issue.
The border today is not the border of my youth. It's just not the same today. The cartels, the criminals, the drugs are infiltrating backyards. They're on the ranches and the farms of my constituents.
In Texas, we will continue to honor our commitment, and we've done it. The last few sessions, we put hundreds of millions of dollars into the border. We've amped up our prosecutions of human trafficking, but we can't stop the flow coming over the border until someone takes this problem seriously.
The resolution that we passed makes it clear that we support our president's efforts to fix this broken system. We must solve this crisis.
Before finishing work for the session, Senator Brian Birdwell led efforts to change Texas's alcohol beverage laws to create more jobs in the industry with beer to go.
This is the TABC Sunset Bill. It strengthens the commission by expanding it and takes a more active role and streamlines TABC's process.
Senator, I know you've worked very hard on this, again, throughout the process, being willing to do what it would take so that the Senate could be unified. That amendment is adopted.
The Texas Republican Senate caucus was able to accomplish its major goals, while at the same time doing so within the framework of a conservative budget. Chairwoman Nelson and work group chairs Huffman, Kolkhorst, Nichols, Taylor, and Betancourt.
The committee substitute to House Bill 1 represents our biennial budget for fiscal years 2020 and 2021. It sets aside $9 billion to address the three key issues of session: property tax relief, teacher pay, and state aid to our school districts.
As we approached our funding levels, we stayed mindful of every time we funded this, there was something else that was not going to be funded.
I know you fought off all kinds of attacks of people who could find more creative ways to spend that money than we'd want to think about.
I want to remind everybody what a blessing it is to live in Texas. We have people moving here in droves because of our strong economy that is producing jobs and opportunities, and because of that success, we have the revenues necessary to fund our growing needs and pave the way for continued prosperity. This budget is compassionate, responsible, forward-thinking, and it will keep us on the path to a bright future.
Governor Greg Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and Speaker Dennis Bonnen promised to work together to tackle the state's major problems and improve the lives of each and every Texan. Texas Republican senators provided the critical leadership, working with their Republican House colleagues to keep promises and deliver results, ensuring a brighter future for all Texans.